Yo, what's up guys? We are back with another video. Ignore about last week with not me making a prediction video. That was AI, that was fake, I was on a boat trip. Let's just say it like that. But we are here though. I am back to give you my full card predictions for UFC Fight Night, Ankalaev versus Guskov. I'm quite upset that the original matchup for this got cancelled. Magomed and Khalil would have been so good. Would Ankalaev won? Yes. He would have, because Khalil, listen, when he fought Jamal Hill in a 5-rounder, he looked good, but he didn't throw too much. Magomed would have destroyed him in a 5-rounder. I'll just give it my thoughts of how that fight would have gone, but we had this new short replacement fight with Bogdan Guskov. I'll be honest, I'm kind of interested to see this, but at the same time, not really. I feel like it's an alright short notice, I'd say it like that, it's what they could do, in such a short span of time. It's very interesting to see how Guskov will fare against Ankalaev, but I'm not going to get too deep into this before we go into all the other predictions for this Fight Night card. So, without further ado, let's get right into the first fights. Alright, the first fight we have is Cody Gibson versus Abdul Hassan. I'm going with Abdul Hassan by submission in round 1. Main reason, Cody Gibson's not that great. Abdul Hassan is, I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with Abdul Hassan. I know that he does have good submissions on his resume, 9 submissions and 5 TKOs, which is quite good, especially because he only has 1 decision win, which is, hey, he's a big finisher, so I'll give him that. Young guy as well. Cody Gibson's quite old, very old, almost 40 years old. So give me Abdul Hassan by submission round 1. Alright, next up we have Nurul Aliev versus Mike Davis. This is my underdog pick right here. Give me Mike Davis by decision. I know, even though he's a decent underdog, I think that he'll get this one done. Main reasons being, 1, Aliev this is going to be his first big real test at somebody this high level. 2, Mike Davis is much more veteran compared to Aliev. He doesn't have the amount of experience that Mike Davis has, and Mike Davis is more well-rounded. in my opinion compared to Aliev. And number 3, I think this is just a bad matchup for Aliev. I think that Mike Davis will take Aliev down, and he'll be able to do some stuff down there. I think that he's better on the feet as well. I think he's more like dynamic with his striking. So yeah, just give me Mike Davis by decision. Alright, next up we have Magomed Tarikalov versus Brenson Roberto. Give me Magomed by round 1 TKO. Brenson Roberto is getting chin like left, right, and center. Yeah, I think this is just a free TKO win for Magomedov. It'd be very funny to see Roberto do another big upset like this again, because I actually kind of like Roberto. He's always exciting, mainly because he gets knocked out in like the most brutal fashions I see, but it is what it is. So give me round 1 TKO by Magomed. Though I will say this, if an upset happens here, I wouldn't be too shocked, because Roberto has done this before. Alright, next up we have decent fight for prelims. Aslan Balfim versus Alexei Sola. I'm going to go with Sola by decision. I know that Balfim has a couple of TKO losses in his career, but for one, his TKO against Nazim wasn't really, I wouldn't really say it was like a bad TKO, because it literally it was like a weird TKO where like him in the eye. The Padley TKO though was a quite bad one, but I don't think that he'll get knocked out, and I don't think Alexei Sola has the power to knock him out, but I do think that he'll win this fight. I think I could see this being a competitive fight as well. Maybe 29-28, I could see that. I think Balfim will win one of the rounds, but I think Alexei Sola will win the other 2. So give me Alexei Sola by a competitive 29-28 for this fight. Alright, next up we have Santiago Pazibo versus Sam Patterson. I'm gonna go with Sam Patterson by first round finish. Santiago just doesn't have it in him anymore. He got knocked out quite badly against Daniel Rodriguez, who as well isn't that great of a fighter. I just gotta say it like how it is. And as well, Santiago is 40 years old. He is fighting a guy that is a young guy like Sam Patterson. Yes, he had a loss, but that was the most boring fucking fight I have ever seen in my entire life against Michael Van Page. Don't even want to talk about that. I don't think anybody wants to talk about that, because there's no point. So give me Sam Patterson by round 1 TKO. I think this will be a good way to get back on the winning side, because yeah, that Michael Van Page loss was, I mean, it's a loss, but it's just the fight itself was so just dog shit. Alright, next up we have Dustin Jacoby versus Muhammad Salivov. I'll be honest again, I don't know much about Muhammad Salivov. I just don't. He does have a couple of TKO wins in his career. 6 out of his 9 wins, so pretty good, and 2 submissions, so 1 decision win. But I mean, I don't really know much about this guy as well. I think that I don't know why the odds are so close to one another. I think it's maybe a little bit crazy, especially for Dustin Jacoby, for someone at his standard, which Dustin Jacoby isn't a ranked guy. At least he might be on the AI rankings, but I'm not too sure. I haven't checked in, but regardless, Dustin Jacoby is a high level like guy outside the rankings, so I am quite surprised about how close these odds are. So I'll go with Dustin Jacoby by decision. Part of me wanted to go with TKO because I could see that happening, but most of the time, Dustin Jacoby doesn't get like too crazy finishes. So, especially for a young guy like Muhammad is. So, I'll go with Dustin Jacoby by decision. Next up, we have Walter Walker versus Thomas Peterson. Oh, the devil's telling me to go with Walter Walker by another heel hook submission, but I don't think so. Thomas Peterson is actually quite a decent heavyweight, even though he's an absolute chud. Thomas Peterson doesn't have any submission losses in his career. Now, are the guys he has fought have any real submission threats? No, not really. None of them do. So, this is going to be his first time actually fighting a grappler. So, hey, I might be, like, completely wrong on this. I'm going with Walter Walker by decision. I think that he'll dominate Thomas Pearson, though. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll win every round, and I think he will, like, school him, in my opinion. Not necessarily school, but you kind of get what I'm saying. I think that he will win every round. I think that he will try to get the submission finish throughout every round. I could see it's, honestly, I could see this being a boring fight because here's what I think is going to happen. Walter Walker is going to take down Thomas Pearson. He's going to hold him there. He's going to try to get a submission, and when he can't, he's going to be like, all right, okay, I'm just going to hold you for the entirety of, like, all these 3 rounds and try to keep trying to get a submission finish, but it probably won't happen because I'm gonna be so wrong on this one. I don't know why. Just tell me I'm gonna be wrong in this, but I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go with Walter Walker by decision. All right, next up we have, oh my god, these names are horrible. Abir Turkov Vegarov versus Salgid Azviv. Yeah, I'm giving up on that. Give me Abir Vegov by decision, mainly because of the style that this matchup is. Sagiv doesn't really have many TKO finishes. He's gone finished, though, Vegov 3 times in his career. Sagov doesn't have the power to knock him out, so I'll go with him by decision on this one. Alright, next up we have Rizvan Kutiev versus Terrell Fortune. Not too familiar with Terrell Fortune. I didn't watch his fight against Marcin Tybura. I'll just be honest. But I don't think I need to because I think Rizvan Kutiev will win this. I could see this. I'm going to go with Rizvan Kutiev by round 2 TKO. I think Terrell Fortune will do well enough in the first round, but I think Rizvan Kutiev, because Rizvan Kutiev, he actually has decent cardio for a heavyweight, so I think he'll actually, like, throw a decent amount of volume that will make Terrell, like, kind of get finished in the second round on the feet, obviously, because Rizvan Kutiev is good on the striking. So, yeah, give me Rizvan Kutiev by round 2 TKO. Possibly the most exciting fight just because of who the fighter is on this entire card. Chanko, I'm just going to say Chanko versus Damian Rez Peke. Obviously, we all know why we were excited about this one, because it's Chanko's, like, fight day. It took him fucking forever, almost a year later. I don't know what was going on. I thought they were just waiting for him to fight on the Islam card, but no, they're not even putting him on the Islam card, so don't know why it took them so long, but hey, whatever. Give me Chanko by decision. People will be surprised about that, but hear me out. Hear me out why I'm picking Chanko by decision. He's fighting a guy who is a big prospect as well, 24 years old compared to Chanko's 31 years old. And as well, Damian is actually pretty good. He's got a lot of finishes. He's a decent prospect from Poland. Young as well, so I think that this will be quite an interesting, like, tough test for Chanko. Not saying that he'll lose, I don't think so. I think this will be kind of similar to how his Dana White Contender Series was, where he won every round, I think. I haven't watched that fight in a bit, but I'm pretty sure he won every round, but it was a competitive fight. It was. So, give me, again, Chanko by 30-27 competitive decision. Alright, next up, we have Islam Duliatov versus Wellington Turman. What is taking Islam so long to like make another turnaround. This guy fought in July. It's almost a year later, and you're fighting an absolute can. You're fighting an absolute can, like a guy like Wellington. Who the fuck is Wellington? I apologize, but give me Islam by first round TKO. Great power he has, good reach. I think that he's really good. So, I mean, I can't really say much because we know it's going to be like a first round TKO because he's fighting an absolute can. Watch, this will be the type of fight that where Wellington somehow takes Islam to a decision but loses every round. Watch, I'll be like that, but I don't think so. I think Islam will get the stun by like first round TKO because he's really good. He's really good. He's very explosive. He's quite deceptive with like his reach because he makes it look like he's way longer than he is. So, yeah, Islam by round 1 TKO. Alright, now for the co-main event. I'm honestly more excited about this one than the main event. Partially, maybe because I'm biased, but Steve Garcia versus Ramzat Tariov. I want and pray that Steve Garcia wins this. And I think he will. I think he'll get this by decision. Mainly because Ramzat Tariov doesn't really make me all that excited for him. He got a win over Michael Johnson, but I don't really credit that win because if you heard about how the fight afterwards, he took steroids that would help him like increase his cardio. Don't exactly know the exact term of what it's called, but he took PEDs to cheat in that fight. So I don't really, credit that win too much because you're a cheater. Steve Garcia is very well rounded, good grappling, good striking, all that stuff. He looked good against Tim Elliott. And I know it's kind of crazy because Tim Elliott is like 41 years old at this point. But like Tim Elliott has always been good. He's always been good. Even against his loss against Steve Garcia, he showed decent competitiveness. So give me Steve Garcia by decision by, I want to either say, best case scenario would be Steve Garcia finishing him. But Steve Garcia doesn't really have like the punching power. Oh my god, he TKO'd Matt Schnell. Wow, crazy work. TKOing Matt Schnell. Earned him a title shot, by the way. But regardless, give me Steve Garcia by decision. Alright, now, for the main event, we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. Give me... Alright, see, part of me wants to pick Magomed by TKO because Magomed is the better striker here. Bogdan Guskov is taking the short nose fight as well. But part of me wants to say that Magomed will comfortably defeat him like every single round. He'll mix in some of the wrestling, clinch with him, not try to like risk getting striking because Bogdan is quite dangerous in the first round. I'm going to go with Magomed by decision. Going with him by decision. Bogdan's performance against Jan actually kind of surprised me and kind of not. He looked quite good in that fight. He does have good power. Dropping Jan Blachowicz is quite impressive. Yes, Jan is like 50 years old at this point. God, he's so old. But it's still impressive because even when Jan Blachowicz was 39, Pereira couldn't drop him. So I think that's like quite impressive. Same with Carlos Uberg. And that was like, I think that was like last year. Couldn't drop him. So I think that's quite impressive for Bogdan Guskov to do that. I could see him doing what he was doing with Pereira in the first fight, where he just like knows when he needs to throw shots because he is a counter puncher, and throw in some of the wrestling, which is just him clinching on the fence. Boring fuck, but regardless, give me Magomed by decision for this fight. But guys, that is me giving my full card predictions for UFC Fight Night, Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. I just want to quickly just say something real quick, off topic with my predictions. I apologize for being inactive on YouTube. I'm trying, and I really want to upload more. It's just really hard because outside life, personal stuff. I'm not gonna get into it, but I do apologize. I do plan to make one more video this weekend, so expect that at some point during the weekend. But that is me giving my full card predictions, and we will see what happens this Saturday. So I will see you all in the next video. Peace!